that over to
to
you.
you. All right, we
We're
live.
live, baby. Uh-oh.
Hey, hey, how y'all feeling, man?
Jody Coleman.
Hey,
Y'all
hey,
got you a
listen,
quarterback.
listen, man. We haven't had a quarterback, a real quarterback. I like Baker, man, but we haven't had a real quarterback that can really win a game since Bernie Kosar, man. So, I mean, we talking about over 30 plus years, man. You don't know, you don't even understand the type of excitement that I feel right now. I really feel like we can win a game. Like I really feel like we can win a championship. I've never felt like this in my life since the '80s, and I really feel like a lot of the stuff I was saying about Cleveland smoke and mirrors. I was hoping that we can go win, but now I really, really feel that we have a team that can compete with anybody week in and week out.
Listen, this is the TD Report. I'm your host, David Combs. We're here with Bracket is an ICU, Mr. Tony Kennedy. Just Tony's bracket's hurting. But we're gonna talk pro football right now because we have our Midwest insider extraordinaire, Jody Coleman, a big Browns fan, who is now going to talk to us about what it means to have Deshaun Watson in uniform under contract. The only thing you need to get past is if Roger Goodell suspends him for 4 to 6 games. I think what's going to happen is this. Jody, he's getting 6.
And you know what? That's okay. We signed Jacoby Brissett, a guy that can play football. We brought a guy in that know how to win. We
That's
brought
a
a guy
football
in
move.
that's a definite. We got rid of Case Keenum, and we also got value back with a 7th round pick for Case Keenum. So, I mean, right now, man, even if he gets 6 games, I'm not terribly upset because I think with Brissett at quarterback, we can go 4-2.
You have 17 games this season. So now the old school 4 game suspension, if you get 6 and you got 11 more to play, you're still in there.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
the NFC North all of a sudden changed overnight for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky as a stopgap measure, okay? But now they're staring down the barrel. They're staring down the barrel at Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and Joe Burrow. That's that type of firepower in the other 3 teams in your division. Hey, Tony, you know who this reminds me of? This reminds me of when Dean Smith decided he was going to recruit black players. He said, I might not be the first, but I ain't going to be the third guy to get a black player up in here. I'm getting the best talent I can get before everyone else does.
Right.
And the Steelers, I think, got caught watching the paint dry. And I think they went a little bit too conservative. Look around the league. Denver upgraded at quarterback. Washington, they think they definitely upgraded at quarterback, okay? The only team, they think they did. They think they upgraded over Taylor Heineke. I don't disagree. I don't think Wentz is that much worse than what people think. I think he's going to be – all they needed this year, Tony, was average play. Top 20 in the league. What's that?
Average play.
Who? You mean Heineke? Heineke was not average. He was below average.
Wentz was only 2 up from Heineke with the best running game.
Listen, 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
7 fumbles lost.
How many? Okay, so that's 14 turnovers from your quarterback, Tony.
So every time you throw 2 touchdowns, you turn the ball over once. That's not good.
Washington thinks that's going to be better than what they had.
I tell you, an upgrade. It's actually hurting the team more. You put the team in salary cap stuff. Not only did they get messed up in the cap, now you burden them with a quarterback who couldn't play with the people who drafted him. He couldn't play with the coach who was his coordinator and his quarterback coach. And he couldn't play with the best running back in the game.
But Tony,
Now, are you supposed to win with a guy who underachieved with the people who were on his side. If they couldn't fix him, then how do you think that stuff in Washington can fix them when they need fixing themselves?
But Tony, can I interject for a moment about Carson Wentz? Carson, can we all agree that Carson Wentz has never played with a wide receiver as good as Terry McLaurin?
He has not.
No.
Go ahead, think about it.
Better than Terry McLaurin.
Who?
He's better than McLaurin.
T.Y. Hilton was a not last year. T.Y. Hilton is not the same player he was 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
No, not at all.
Who's their number one receiver for the Colts right now?
Michael Pittman Jr.
Yep.
Receiver when he was in Philadelphia when they won the Super Bowl.
Old Alshon Jeffries.
Yep.
So good that they won the Super Bowl without him.
I'm not saying he's better than you think. You could have put Tyler Heineke on that team, and Philadelphia would have been what 11-2 when he got hurt.
Not going to happen.
No.
Is to you, you can't go and fix someone that couldn't get fixed by the people who were the professionals at this. The guy turning those guys. How are they going to fix Wentz when the people who are as good as you're going to get for quarterback coaches and coordinators, and they can't fix him? So do you actually think when he was seeing man-to-man all the time with 8 people in the box, now do you actually think he's going to be much better when they have to go through all this other stuff?
But thanks for joining us, Devin.
Hey, what's up, Dev?
Hey, folks. How you guys, man?
You know what Tony's up to right now, right?
You know what? Help me make sense of this, guys.
Hold on.
Make sense with it now. Please help me out with this because you guys analyze this stuff a little bit better than me. But let me bring you back to this stuff for Wentz. If you can't fix a quarterback with his own people and the best running back, who is the best friend to a quarterback in this NFL, if you can't fix him with that, how are you going to fix him?
Devin, why don't you jump in here and talk to Tony, man. Talk to him.
2017, I think a lot of us may not, and we probably do because we really look at it from different angles. Like Jody probably would look at it the way I look at it. People not, Tony, you're going to look at it the way you look at it because when you believe something, you believe it. So no matter, and that's why I rock with you because you're on bend. You're like, I believe what I believe. That's true. The end of it for me.
That's true.
So, but we're not giving enough credit to the guys that configure that offense to fit his skill set to a T in 2017. That zone read, quick throw, passing stuff, the zone read where he was able to get basically one read on almost every route because the running game was so good with Ajayi and Howard. You were so focused on it. Then you had Ertz and was Goddard on that team? Yeah, he didn't get drafted. Yeah, no, it was the other guy, Trey Burton. Trey Burton was the other tight end. So
yes,
the middle of the field was always occupied by Eagles. So when he pulled that ball out on the zone read before he tore that ACL, it was a nightmare for defenses. Once he tore that ACL, he didn't have the athleticism and the mobility that he was blessed with when he first came to the league. He became a different quarterback. And the offense, he went into Indianapolis and they couldn't run they did run a semblance of it, but it wasn't the same offense that they ran in 2017 because this year he didn't have the dynamic tight ends, the 2 tight ends that killed you. They didn't get the middle of the field like they wanted to all the time. He had a better, probably just as good an offensive line, if not better this year, because the Colts offensive line is pretty legit as well. But and he had, instead of 3 or 4 backs, he had 1 dominant back, and he had Nyheim Hines as his scat back. So, in not giving him a pass and saying this, he's not the same guy because of the injury. The injury has taken something from him. It's like Robert Griffin once he tore his ACL finally again. He was never able to get that corner on the zone read to put the fear into defenses where if I get the edge, now I can bust one. Carson Wentz, people forget that year that they won the Super Bowl, there was a Monday night game where the Washington football team had him corralled by 7 guys and he got out. Remember that?
Yep.
You thought he was on the ground. He came from out of that pile and went for like 30 yards, and that was the game-winning play to kind of ice the game. You needed the ball back, couldn't get it back. That's the stuff he can't do anymore. He can.
Yeah,
Course he
he's
can
not
pull
that
it
guy
down.
anymore. Yeah.
No, if they're in man, they turn their back. Yeah, he can run for 8, 9 yards, 10 yards. But if he's got to do it like he had to do it in 17 when they were running design runs for him, and he was keeping that ball, how he got hurt going into the end zone against the Rams, he would be a different guy. That was an element that he really had at North Dakota State, because if you go look at his numbers for North Dakota State, he didn't really throw it a lot. He threw it enough, but he didn't have to throw it because they were able to overpower people, and his athleticism, like Trey Lance. Same thing with him. Same thing with the only quarterback they had that won a championship that actually threw the ball out was the guy Easton Stick, or whatever his name is. He threw it more than Lance and more than Wentz did when he was there. So I don't think Wentz is a great quarterback. He's better than Heineke. I will say that. He's better than Heineke, because the thing that he can do that Heineke can't do, when the wind start blowing, Heineke can't get the ball downfield.
Correct.
You know,
You've
you're
gotta
going to
be able to
Giant
throw.
Stadium.
Yeah.
You're going into MetLife, and you're going into the Link in December, and you can't push the ball down the field. That wind swirling, you can hang it up, because a lot of if you look at a lot of the passes that De'Ami Brown and Terry McLaurin, they had to wait on the football a lot of times because the ball was late. It just doesn't have it floats. He just throws a floater. He doesn't. He's accurate.
He can't drive the football.
He can't push it. No, he can't
drive the football.
As you stated before, Dave, you mentioned if he's late, it's a pick, because if he's late, he can hang it up. It's going the other way. He just can't make those throws.
NFL corners. You know, I know a lot of Washington fans like to talk about the catch that was made in the end zone here at FedEx Field. The catch that was made on Trevon Diggs, 9 times out of 10, Diggs either picks that or he defenses that. That ball literally dropped in by the grace of God. And people were talking about, and I'm not dissing Cam Sims at all. Cam Sims made an incredible effort on that football, but in that locker room, that's one of those where you come up to the quarterback, hey dog, look, you got to throw that. You got to throw that to the back of the end zone. You got to throw that to the flag, because if I'm not Randy Moss,
your man don't catch it. If your man don't catch it, nobody's catching it. Yeah. Exactly.
If that's Randy Moss, different. Throw it up there. He can wait there. Randy Moss could wait all week for that ball. Or Andre Johnson, he gonna box out.
Calvin Johnson, Megatron, all them guys.
Megatron, that's different. Herman Moore. I could go.
What does Washington have that he doesn't have?
What's that?
That he's never had before.
What Wentz is getting here?
Here that we all of a sudden see something new that's going to make him play on that level. What does he have here?
A number one receiver.
Scott Turner has his work cut out for him here. The offensive team, the offensive group that worked with Wentz in Philly when he was healthy,
couldn't fix him.
But they're better than Scott Turner. That's what I'll say.
But
they're better
that,
than Scott Turner. Look, Doug Peterson ending up in Jacksonville might end up saving Trevor Lawrence's career. Trevor Lawrence just doesn't know it yet.
But hold on,
it's going to save his career. And the ownership did the right thing by saying, let's go on the scrap heap and see who we can get. And Doug Peterson's sitting right there at home. You know what? Give this guy a shot. Give this kid an actual credible NFL offensive mind. I'm not saying he's got to be Mike Shanahan. I'm not saying he's got to be Bill Walsh. But just get me an adult that knows what he's doing. Hey, listen, rookie quarterback, because as far as I'm concerned, this year coming up, this is his rookie year. This last year,
but
forget everything you learned, unlearn the bad habits you learned, going off your back foot, going at your first read, staring down receivers. Look, man, we're going to teach you how to play quarterback so you can get to that second contract and make some real money.
Well, he ain't got no bully, telling his kicker, hey, dipshit, make your kicks, stuff like that.
You know what?
You know what I mean? That's the stuff Urban Meyer was doing, man. That guy, man.
That guy is terrible.
And he's back at Ohio State, people. Don't y'all know that?
He won't be there for long. Trust me.
He won't be there long.
Ohio State.
But real quick about Carson Wentz before we move on. You can't, Tony, you can't teach 6'5", 240. He has the physical capabilities to play quarterback. It's just
Well-
you saying what does he have that he never had before? He has a number one receiver. Sometimes your number one receiver can bail you out of a lot of stuff. In the
Sure,
last
it
couple
can make you
stops
look
he done
good.
been at, but the last couple stops he done been at, when he was in Philly his last year, he was throwing it to who? Who was he throwing it to his last year in Philly? He was probably throwing it to me. I'm 43
Yeah, he
years
was-
old. You know
Actually,
what I mean?
actually, his number one receiver was a former quarterback, Greg Ward Jr.
Right.
Oh
So,
man,
That was
out
his
of
number,
Houston.
but I will say this, Jody. He did have a number one receiver because Michael Pittman is every bit as good as Terry McLaurin. Every bit as good.
I can feel that, but what I'm saying is he did
Every
not
bit
have.
as good.
If you close your eyes and looked at a blind resume of Carson Wentz against any of the top quarterbacks, you would know that he was going to get traded. 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions is nothing to sneeze at. I
No.
mean, if he was playing in Cleveland, we wouldn't have traded him. If he had those type, if Baker had the same numbers that Carson Wentz had, Baker would still be a Cleveland Brown starter.
Oh, absolutely.
Turning the ball over 7 more times on the damn ground.
You talking about
He
the
fumbled
fumbles?
7. He fumbled 10 times. I think he lost 6 or 7 of them.
Sheesh.
So 27 touchdowns. I'm gonna give him one. 28 touchdowns, 14 turnovers. That's not good, folks.
But guess who else had double-digit fumbles and interceptions combined? His name is
Who?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, he did.
Come on, man. It ain't
did.
just we can't.
Whoa. But let's add all the points that he generated for his offense.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Last half of the season when they really got it going, they were scoring a ton of points.
Right.
Ton of points.
Hold on, Tony. But guess who else led the NFL in interceptions? His name was
Probably
Matthew
Mahomes.
Stafford. His name is Matthew
Stafford
Stafford.
did?
Stafford.
Yeah.
But
First year.
we're not putting
First year.
Carson Wentz with them.
No.
Why not? Physically, he's as good as Matthew Stafford. Physically,
He's damaged goods. He is
I
one.
remember a time when I was telling people that Dak Prescott was better than him and they was in the same draft. So we want to go off of that draft again? Or who was in that draft? Who was in that draft? Wasn't it who was first pick that year? The boy in Detroit and that guy. And our guy was 4th round. I had arguments for years about this. Are we still arguing about that now?
No, because Wentz has gotten hurt a couple of times, and he is not the same physical specimen, physical player that he was, because he doesn't have that additional dimension of being able to move outside the pocket and really hurt you. You see what I'm saying? And you know, we could talk about this till the cows come home, but in the end, he is an upgrade over Taylor Heineke. He just is. And when you look at what the league has done, and we can move on from this in just a moment, looking at what the league has done, has this been the biggest quarterback exodus or changing places that we've ever seen? It's as far as top shelf guys. These are
crazy.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Beth. You see what I'm saying? It's the amount of quarterbacks that have changed teams, and we're talking big name quarterbacks making big money. This is the salary cap at work. This is what the salary cap has done. It's pushed the value of a quarterback so artificially high, but there's so many loopholes within the collective bargaining agreement and how teams handle their cap and their cap number, what the guy actually makes, roster bonuses, all of that stuff in terms of making these moves. So the move today, Matt Ryan moves from Atlanta and he's out of there. Okay. He goes to, was it Indianapolis, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Indianapolis. If that deal had not happened by 4:00 today, that would have been another $7.5 million in his pocket that would have gone on to the Falcons. The Falcons end up flipping him for, I think, a 3rd round pick. Is that correct?
Third round.
Yeah.
Third round.
I like that deal for him. I think that's a good fit for
Both teams.
a good fit. I think it's a good fit for both teams. But
Yeah, it's a good move because
Atlanta's got a lot of
Mariota,
holes.
didn't it?
And
got
Atlanta
Mariota.
just picked up Mariota. That's right.
Yeah,
That was
that's
a
a
good.
good.
I like
that.
Mariota. I like him. I
You
think he
called
deserves
that right.
another chance.
You called that right, but I think with the 8th pick, they're going to take the guy from Pittsburgh. I
So
think they're going to go after him.
if they take
Quarterback
Pickett,
from Pittsburgh.
if they take
Probably
Pickett,
so.
yeah, if they take Pickett at 8, okay, Willis will be gone by then.
Willis
Willis
going number 6.
Detroit. I
He's
think
going
Detroit's
to 6.
going to get him.
No,
Huh?
he's going 6 to Carolina.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
see, Carolina's going to take
Remember,
a quarterback.
I told y'all that he's going to go
Yeah.
6 to
Yeah.
Carolina.
So
I think
we're
Carolina's
going to have
take
us
a
some
quarterback
fun.
before him.
So if you're
what's the name
watching,
is what's the name is damaged goods down there. Sam Darnold, he said he was seeing ghosts. He ain't never gonna be right. No. He ain't never gonna be
that
right,
New
bro.
York
He
situation.
ain't never gonna be right, bro.
Right.
That dude-
Adam Gase and all them dudes messed that guy up. Okay. He's in where, you know what? He's in where someone said that his psyche is even worse than David Carr. And
Wow.
David Carr probably still wakes up seeing himself getting sacked when he was in
Yeah.
Houston. I felt bad for that dude.
David
You know
Carr
what-
should hate the Texans for believing that Tony Baselli was ever going to play again with that damaged shoulder. That was the mistake they made.
Oh,
That
it
was
was a
the mistake they made.
debacle. Oh,
Yes, that was the mistake. They
was
gave
just-
him all that money and was like, he's going to protect our future, and he didn't play one down.
Didn't he get
Kid
sacked
got-
72 times?
He got sacked in that
believe-
game. They
I
beat.
think it was 72
Didn't they win?
times.
Yeah, in one season, their first game against Dallas, that was their first game in franchise. They beat the Cowboys. He got sacked 8 times in that game. People forget that. They won
Yeah.
the game, but he was on the ground 8 times, man.
Yeah.
8 damn
that's-
times. I mean, come on, man. Greg
Yeah.
Ellison and back there having a damn field day in his backfield all game.
Yeah, it
Makes
was.
no damn sense. I said this is going to be a long career, long career for this kid, man.
Hey, look,
I
if
feel
it was a
bad
fight,
for him, man.
if it was a fight, we would have stopped it.
Let's stop that one, home team.
Hey,
You
listen,
would've stopped.
we're here on the TD
Oh,
Report.
man.
We're here with Tony Kennedy, Jody Colbin, and Devin Mason from POV Sports. Listen, guys, we got a tournament going on right now, and honestly, I think the only people that we're mad at is the damn refs. What is going
They're
on with
awful.
the referees in this
God.
tournament? This is, I'm going to be honest. The Carolina Baylor game, I was at my son's baseball game. When I looked at my phone, I told one of the parents, I said, hey, listen, Carolina is beating the brakes off of Baylor, okay?
Mhm.
By the time I got to my car, that lead started shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And it ends up going to overtime. But, guys, the way that this game was officiated,
Awful.
there were 2 games in particular. The Memphis Gonzaga game I thought was officiated a little different in the second half than it was in the first. And I do think that Carolina Baylor game, oh my God.
What is that?
That's
got his
North
Carolina
Carolina. That's
stuff
Tony.
on.
What is-
Tony
what is
done
that?
gone in the closet. Lord, it got his North Carolina
Dog.
his North Carolina starter jacket.
Hey, he got the air code special, man.
It looks like it looks like
This
Chapel
hey.
Hill. It looks like Chapel Hill exploded.
Oh man, I had to.
Hey,
I had
hey,
to make
Tony,
sure
Tony,
I
get
bring it on for
JR
you.
coat back, man.
Hey man, this joint from 1991.
Yeah, get
Oh, my
JR.
God.
1992, baby.
That's
Yeah,
the Derek.
Garrett,
That's
go.
the Derek Phelps. That's the Derek Phelps era.
I had to
He got
go
the-
get
he
it for
got-
y'all.
He got the
Kevin
field four
Salvadori.
corners joint on there. Field four corners on the back of
Oh,
that
don't
joint.
y'all,
man.
baby.
Dante
like
King Rice's
Calabria.
coat back, man.
Where's Dante Calabria at?
Oh yeah.
Jeff Lebo.
Shaman
What y'all
Williams.
talking about? I told y'all on this show,
Donald
told
Williams.
you Baylor was some Jessies. And I said in 1990, the last time we were 8th seed, we beat the number 1 seed on a last second shot. I told y'all that.
It's
Hey,
at Oklahoma,
Never give up,
right?
boys.
Rick
Hey,
Fox
George-
against
When they beat
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
That was
George
Rick
Wynn
Fox
said
against
give his coat
Oklahoma.
back, man.
Hey,
The
listen.
next game, they got blown out by Arkansas, so it didn't matter.
This game goes to overtime, but we're talking about the officiating. Brady Manick was working on an all-world game. He had, I think, 26 points when he was ejected for what they called a flagrant elbow. Now, I watch a lot of college basketball. I watched a lot of Big East basketball growing up. Okay, that wasn't no Georgetown elbow. Okay,
No.
okay. As Kevin Garnett called it, a Georgetown rebound, where you come down and you just bring your elbows out like this. That guy was behind Brady Manick, and he literally just reached back like that. He didn't even see the guy. Caught him in the face. He went down. Thankfully, the young man was not injured, right? You can knock teeth out with that happening. But the officials went and looked at it at the scores table. So they ejected a guy that had 26 points midway through the second half. He should have had 40.
He had 16 in the first 10 minutes, second half, 4 threes and 2 other shots, 2 other buckets.
Yeah,
He couldn't
he was
miss.
hot.
He is the best stretch pick and pop guy in college basketball. You're not gonna when they run that pick and pop and he's 6'10". You can't block his shot. Can't block it.
He's it's that Kevin Pittsnoggle thing. You know what I'm saying?
Good comparison. Good comparison.
It's Kevin Pittsnoggle. And the
Yeah.
other thing is he's not just one dimensional, Devin. He can get boards and has
Yeah,
no
he's
problem. He has
He's
no
tough.
problem going in there and getting it. But
No, he doesn't.
Tony was as Tony was biting his fingernails as the lead dwindled down.
You know, I was cursing because he stopped attacking. Listen, dog, basketball is simple.
Come like that. You attack, especially when they were in foul trouble. Because all they were going to do is either foul you or you were going to get a high percentage shot. That was simple.
I think what happened is I really feel like Hubert Davis decided I can't continue at this pace with my bench.
Nope.
I'm going with 6 guys. That's the most I can do, and I lost one. Brady Manek is out. I'm down to 5 guys. You know, I've just got to just drive this car home with one headlight, a bald front tire. Literally, that's what they did.
Well, Dave, Caleb Love fouled out a minute and a half after that.
So
he was down. He was down to 3 starters. Yeah, Caleb Love fouled out a minute and a half. He got trying to drive to the basket with 4 fouls, knowing they're gonna get under you. I'm like, dude, you know you can't put yourself at risk like that, you know. And that was that was a bigger to me. That foul out was bigger than Brady Manek because of the ball handling situation.
But
the defending national champions, they showed
tough, man.
They showed a lot of heart. You know, it's you know, Scott Drew did a lot of good work this year with this team. Okay, a lot of injuries happened, and you know, it is what it is. But going back and taking a shot at another national title, if you know, you're going to get everyone's best shot. Okay. And I think what we're going to see now, the next best team left in the field, most would agree, is probably Gonzaga, who is a 1 seed out in the West region. Hey, man, they were severely tested by Penny Hardaway's Memphis team.
you know what I seen in that game, Dave? I seen that Chet Holmgren stock has dropped. And I'm going to say that because they put a shoulder in his chest. And everybody in the NBA is a grown man. And that boy needs some milk. He need to go drink a whole gallon of milk for about 6 months straight. He need protein shakes because if
no, you're right. He's light in the ass. He's light in the ass, and he cannot hold a spot.
He got exposed. He's a decent shot blocker. He remind me of Porzingis, but that guy he's not. He's gonna need some milk. He's gonna need some bulking up because in the NBA they saw that footage and that's all they're gonna do to him night in and night out.
Now, what did you guys think about what Drew Timme did in the second half? He went off.
Footwork God.
Drew Timme led all scorers with 25 points.
Footwork. He had 11 straight at one point when they were down. He scored 11 in a row off of straight drop steps and spins, getting people in foul trouble. He did the same thing all tournament last year until they played Baylor and they got behind, so to the point where they couldn't utilize him on the inside. But he did that all 5 games they won last year. He literally said, throw the ball to me. No one in college basketball is smart enough to stay on their feet when I do these pump fakes. When they jump, I'm going to jump into them and I'm going to get the call every time. It's not like the NBA where he's got great footwork. His footwork is immaculate. And he doesn't have all the athleticism and stuff. He's 6'9". He got great footwork, great hands. He's a terrible defender. He's a terrible defender. He's terrible on the defensive end. But his offense, and as Jody stated, as good as Holmgren is in some things, he's just too small. And back when he played AAU in the EYBL, Jalen Duren, the big kid from Memphis, abused him the same way. He knew he could bully him. That's the knock on him. Somebody like Imani Bates, who he embarrassed on national TV, can't bully him because he's just as skinny. So he can, you know, but a guy like Duren with that 6'10", 250 broad shoulders like Paolo Banchero and them guys, Banchero gave him the business too when they played earlier in the year. And
did he?
I told Tony, I know I'm going ahead. I told Tony, that's the dude. If that dude decide he want to do what he did yesterday against Michigan State, Duke is going to be hard to get rid of because when he decide he want to do what he can do down low, ain't no stopping that. 2'6", 250, and nimble. And then he can make jump shots. And he's a good passer. And he's a good defender. He got it all. He got it all, man.
And let's give the Memphis Tigers a lot of credit. They're going to bow out of the tournament here in the round of 32. But think about this. Gonzaga scored 82 points, and Drew Timme had 25. And so you got one guy with 25 and you don't break 100, right? But look at what happened over on the Memphis side. DeAndre Williams leads the Memphis Tigers, who put up 78 points. Their leading scorer had 14. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of guys scoring buckets. They had a lot of help around that to get to that 78. And legitimately, they were up 10 at half. They were outclassing Gonzaga at half. Last year, Gonzaga was really difficult to deal with pretty much until the title game. They ran into Baylor and just got, they just ran into a buzzsaw, okay? Let's talk about this Michigan-Tennessee game. Michigan comes in as an 11 seed going up against Tennessee, a 3 seed, okay? Michigan battled. Hunter Dickinson, DeMatha grad, local guy done good. Hunter Dickinson with 27. Yeah. That's bully ball. That's I'm gonna get to my spot. I'm gonna go left shoulder, right shoulder. I'm gonna drop step you, jump hook. I'm gonna get my buckets, and that's what they did. 27 big points for the big man from DeMatha. Tennessee just ran out of time. Just not enough scoring.
Yeah, and I think if I can I say something? It was impressive what Dickinson did because Fulkerson, Tennessee center, is like a 6-year senior. He been around a long time, and Dickinson really played extremely. He didn't pick up dumb fouls. He didn't try to overpower him. He used his footwork. He used his touch. And that kid Brooks, and it was another kid that played well for them. Collins, I think, Frankie Collins. They got Juwan Howard can flat coach, man. The dude can coach. He's taking that team. And his best player coming into the season was predicted to be Caleb Houston, the Montverde kid that shoots. He's been up and down, and Juwan has said, okay, still shoot the ball. If you don't make them, just play good defense. I mean, that's coaching, man. Just the kid isn't shooting. That's what he's known for, knocking down shots, and he hasn't done it at a great clip this year. But that's what I like about Juwan Howard. And then the way he handled himself at the end of that game with the kid Kennedy Chandler was just classy, man. Classy.
Yeah.
Class act.
Jody, what do you think about a coach that has the quality where he can develop a team and make those kids play for each other? How important is that in March?
Actually, it's truly important. Actually, Juwan Howard coached one of the guys, my nephew's best friend, Xavier Simpson.
Oh,
played
good.
for him. Yeah, I coached again. He went to Lima Senior up here in the Ohio region.
Central Ohio, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we played against him when I coached for Thurgood Marshall and Xavier Simpson. He had so much high praise for Howard, man. Howard coaching in March and being there, actually being a player, he understands that all you got to do is get hot at the right time. You got to make the right plays. You got to limit your turnovers. And that's what Michigan did. And, they're 17-14 coming into the tournament, so a lot of people are like, oh, they should be a pushover, 11 seed. But we got to understand the Big Ten is probably from top to bottom the best conference in America.
I think it's the Big 12. I think it's the Big 12.
Does the ACC?
Here come the ACC guys.
What I'm saying, ACC is top heavy. I'm talking about from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
We're talking about Ohio State, Maryland. We're talking about Indiana. We're talking about Minnesota. I'm talking about top to bottom. Now, like the Big 12 may have better teams. They got the Kansas. ACC may have Duke and North Carolina. But we're talking about if you look at it from top to bottom, the Big Ten is probably.
Don't forget Texas Tech. They're in the Sweet 16 again.
Right.
Kansas,
Wisconsin
won the championship.
You say what?
Our 8th ranked team won the championship.
Do you realize how long it's been since a Big Ten team has won the national title?
Probably Michigan State.
It's been a long time, dog.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm talking about
22 years.
2000, Mateen, Cleaves, and the Flintstones.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
I love
had
the
a,
Big Ten.
I had a friend that played for him, Andre Hudson. He played for Michigan State.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was tough.
Yeah.
He was tough.
He from
Hudson
Trotwood
was a
High School.
beast.
Yeah, he from Trotwood
Yeah.
right here in Dayton.
Was he
Listen.
left-handed?
Left-handed, yeah.
Yep.
He was
Yeah.
left-handed.
Yeah.
Number 34. Number 34.
played-
Yeah.
You know who I
against
really
him.
liked? You know, I really liked off that team. My man Mo Pete. That was my
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
He
Love
was a
that
difference
guy.
maker. He was a difference maker for them.
There's a couple
Mo
of
Pete.
guys in college basketball that I've really liked. And everybody, when I was growing up, was a big Pat Ewing fan. Who didn't like Pat Ewing? You know who I liked for Georgetown? My boy Reggie Williams, man. That dude,
Tough.
just Johnny on the spot, get you a bucket. You know, a guy like Scotty Thurman from Arkansas.
That's my favorite
Mo
player,
Pete
man.
from Michigan State. I like those swingmen. You know what I'm saying? I like those guys. Todd Day. Them dudes.
Totally
Classic,
Bailey,
man.
man.
Oh,
Totally
Jimmy
Bailey.
Jackson. Jimmy Jackson from Ohio
Oh, yeah,
State.
Ohio State. Yeah, no doubt.
One of quiet as kept, one of Gary Williams' best players ever. That dude could play him some basketball, man. So let's talk about these seedings, okay? Murray State came into this tournament. I think they won the Ohio Valley. Is that right? Is that the Ohio Valley Conference they're in?
So, yeah.
They win the conference tournament. What did they go? 31-2?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Something like that. They get a 7 seed. Okay. They get St. Peter's in the second round, the 15 seed Cinderella, and hang tough, lose by 10. Should they have gotten should Murray State be upset about their seeding?
No.
Their conference dictated that.
Right.
Mhm. So
Not to
what
mention-
about Virginia Tech? What about Virginia Tech getting an 11?
Yeah, we should be a little
Upset about that.
Maybe
see
a
what I'm saying?
9. Maybe a 9. Maybe.
I thought
I
Virginia Tech should have been no lower than a 10. They should have been a 10 seed.
I thought Tech and Tennessee, after winning their conference tournaments, got kind of jobbed on the thing. I thought
what I was
Tennessee was
saying.
better. Tennessee should have been ahead of Kentucky. They beat them twice in a matter of like 2 weeks, and I was like,
It was like
"How they
it was
behind
like
Kentucky? That's weird. That's weird."
it was like those games didn't matter. You
Right.
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I think
What's the point
bracket
of
was
having
already
a
filled
regular
out.
season?
I felt like they had the seasons already fit, and they didn't want to make no changes. They was like, "We ain't making no changes." I think they for like the last 3 weeks, all we heard was top 4 seeds: Gonzaga, Zona, Baylor, Kansas. They were going to give, and they kept trying to get one of the Big 12 teams out of there, but everybody kept losing because
Right.
Baylor really didn't deserve a 1 seed based on the way they ended. They lost in the first round of Big 12. They didn't finish with a strong ending to their year. Now, you do take into account Jonathan Chama, LJ Pryor, 2 of their main guys were hurt. And this team was 15-0 when they were fully healthy. I won't take that from them. But you have to judge them on their full body of work. And their body of work after the new year said they weren't a 1 seed. They were a 2 seed at best. And in some cases, they should have been maybe below Texas Tech, Texas Tech swept them.
Yes.
So
they did.
I didn't understand that. Texas Tech swept them. So how are they at 3 and they at 2? Tech got to the
Yep.
Big 12 championship, but Baylor's still a 1. That's backwards. And I
It's-
get Baylor beat some good teams during the season, but then in the last 2.5 months of the season, they were not that good. They weren't.
Dev, why weren't you in this room talking to these people? Because you're making sense.
Right.
It's crazy, man. I don't get it. And like I said, I'm a Baylor, I'm a Big 12 guy, I'm a Kansas guy, and I respect the heck out of Baylor. They're gritty. But as I said to you guys the other day, they would go as far as Akinjo would take them. And he was iffy Saturday. He was up and down, bad shots, taking ill-advised threes, not passing the ball. If he had played under control, Carolina would have never got up by 25. He was the reason. Carolina played good, but he aided them. Bad shot. I mean, he takes the worst shots. And that's
His shot
Ewing
selection.
So
His
awful.
shot selection has not changed since Georgetown. And that
Nope,
was what,
and that's the
5 years
problem.
ago? It's
Go ahead, man. He's his fourth school, isn't he?
he's at his fourth school. And
Fourth school. Good gracious.
he was this is the sad part. He was one of Pat Ewing's first recruits.
Yes, he was.
He brought
He
in
was
Matt McClung, who is now, I think, in the Lakers system.
yeah, G League.
he's
the
a
G League
G
team.
League Laker. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He brought in Josh LeBlanc out of where was
New
he? Out of
Orleans.
Louisiana, New Orleans,
New Orleans area. Yep. Mm-hmm.
and then brought in. He brings in Akinjo out of the Pacific Northwest. That's your 1, 2, and your 3. All of those guys made all freshman Big East teams, or honorable mention all freshmen. and then none of them made it to their third year. Josh LeBlanc
Ain't it
got in
crazy?
trouble with the law, got kicked out of school. Mac
Mhm.
McClung transferred the year before they won before they won the Big East title, and McClung was already gone.
Yep.
So it just shows that you've got to get these guys to stick. It's not just to get them to come. You've got to get them to stay about 2-3 years at least. If you can't get that out of them, you're always going to be on that hamster wheel recruiting.
But
And I do
Dave,
think that that's going to be Pat Ewing's downfall is the recruiting.
Yeah.
but
I think he
the-
knows coaching. I think he can coach, but communicating with kids, a little bit different. You know, you get the guys like Mike Krzyzewski that have done it now for 40 years, Bobby Huggins, Kelvin Sampson. These guys have been doing it forever and ever. Eventually they fade away, but I've got to segue into this, guys. Number 5 Houston against number 4 Illinois. That was a South Region second-round game to make it to the Sweet 16. Kelvin Sampson, guys, he could flat out coach. I think the guy's underrated.
Very good coach.
I think he's underrated. You realize, guys, he's got a Final Four on his resume at 2 schools.
Mhm. Two.
Listen, if you've got Final Four at 2 schools, that doesn't mean you can coach. That means you can flat out coach, because that means
Was
you
he
can
the-
show up. What's that?
Was he the coach of Oklahoma in 2002 when Maryland won it all? And they
He
had
was.
Hollis Price. Yeah, that was
He
that
was.
was his Final Four team at Oklahoma.
That was the
Okay.
Final Four
Yeah.
team for him.
That lost
Uh,
that lost to Indiana in the national semifinal.
Yeah, they
beat
lost
Kansas.
in the
Yeah.
national semis to Mike
Maryland,
Davis.
Maryland beat Kansas.
That was the Mike
Okay,
Davis
that's
team.
what it was. The Mike Davis and the big light skinned kid that played center for them. Jared whatever,
Jeffries.
Jared Jeffries. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Iowa State, another Big 12 team, handles Wisconsin in an 11-3 game. Listen, Wisconsin is very difficult to beat because of the style that they play, and they play such tough defense. So getting away from them, that to me was not a major upset, because Iowa State is a quality ball club. But Wisconsin,
That was a big upset, Dave, because they were playing in Milwaukee.
right, that's a good
That was a
point.
home game.
That was a home game for Wisconsin, a game that they're going to rue. They're going to wish that they won. Notre Dame bows out to Texas Tech. Another Big 12 team racks up another victory, 59-53. There were thoughts that Mike Bray might be coming back east and taking the Maryland job, but it sounds like that Kevin Willard is going to get the Maryland job.
He got it today.
I don't like that. I don't like that hire.
He
I
got
don't
it
like
today.
Yeah, he just got it today. It's I don't like the hire. I think Sean Miller is the coach that you want if you're Maryland. I know they're afraid of the NCAA violations.
well, Sean
but
Miller
you know
went
what?
back to Xavier.
Xavier had no problem.
Yeah, he went up to
None.
Xavier. That's right down
No
the street.
problem
Yeah.
bringing him back. And
Yeah, he'll be
Sean
coaching
Miller,
Master P son. Coaching
Yeah.
Master P son. Yep.
Sean Miller will be. I'm going to say it right here. Cody, mark this down on the tape. Sean Miller will be in an Elite Eight inside of 4 years. I'll give him 4. He'll be
Oh
there.
yeah.
Xavier.
Oh yeah. He
Xavier.
can coach.
He can coach. Okay.
He can coach. He can coach.
Texas bows out to Purdue, 81-71. Jody, what did you think about that? I like Purdue. I'm an East Coast guy that's pro Purdue. I love them.
Purdue is a real gritty team. It's a team that, that's what the Big Ten embodies. Like we're a grinded out type of, we like the East. We like the Midwest, but we like the East. We play an Eastern Conference style. But like Ivy is showing that he's probably one of the best players left in the tournament. I mean, that kid is extremely athletic. And
He's a dog.
He can
He's
get
a
any
dog.
shot he want on the court. He can get any shot on the court. And I think that's what it was. And I think the defense that Purdue put on Texas towards the second half, the last 8 minutes of the game, Texas didn't have any answers for that. And
Hey, his mom ain't a half bad basketball coach either. She's the coach at Notre Dame.
oh yeah,
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
That's his mama.
Yeah, his dad. Yeah, his mama Neil Ivy and his dad played wide receiver for Notre Dame too. They both were good.
Yep. Yeah,
His
that's
dad
great
played in the NFL for like 5 years. Yeah.
great bloodlines there. So
What I was impressed with about Ivy, real quick, is
yeah, go
Courtney
for it.
Ramey from Texas is one of the best defenders in college basketball. He did a great job on Abaji both times when they played Texas. He's done a great job on all the best wing guys on the teams that Texas play. And he really gave Ivy some trouble. I think Ivy was like 4 for 16 yesterday, but when Ivy had to get a bucket, that step back three where he crossed them when they needed it, when they got like a 3-point game. And you can see Ramey's face like, man, how did you, like, it was so quick and subtle that when Ramey went to put his hands up, the ball was going through the net. It was so quick. And that's what Ivy can do, that quick twitch ability to go get a bucket and that ability to just create off the bounce. Him and that kid from Arizona, Benedict Mathurin, no one creates shots quick on the perimeter better than them guys. They can go get a bucket, man.
Now,
hey, Dev, he
Benedict
increases his draft stock though tremendously with this tournament.
Who? Jaden Ivey?
Oh yeah,
yes,
he definitely going top 10 easily.
Yeah, I was saying I think the Washington Wizards would be sitting, I think, somewhere around 11 or 12. Somebody had said, what if both of them are sitting there, Mathurin or Ivy? I said, if either one of them is sitting there, you be thankful you have a shot at both, okay? Yeah, but if one of them is there, you take the one of them that's there when you're drafting. But I don't think both of them will be there when the Wizards would draft. They'd have to really do some tanking. Now, you brought up Benedict Mathurin. TCU, they just ran out of gas in overtime. Arizona takes out them in a 1-9 matchup. But to me, what I thought was interesting to show how old I am, Chuck O'Bannon Jr., leading scorer for TCU.
Kid can play, man.
Ed O'Bannon, his uncle, according to Jerry Tarkanian, may he rest in peace, was one of the best high school ball players that he ever saw. Now he didn't count Sweet Pea in that because Sweet Pea didn't go to Lloyd Daniels barely went to high school. So he said, I don't count him as a high school player. Ed O'Bannon, before he blew his knee out, if there's any tape of it on YouTube, I recommend you go look at it. That joker ran and jumped like Superman. Okay. He was Kevin Garnett. He was that's what it is. He was Kevin Garnett. And that was 10 years before Kevin Garnett?
Yeah.
It was incredible.
95. Yeah.
You got go
the
look
worst
at the UCLA
set of
team.
arthritic knees they ever saw at the Chicago pre-draft for the NBA. Worst set of knees they ever saw.
Dang,
Wow.
Look at UCLA's team they had. Charles and Ed O'Bannon, Toby Bailey, Titus Edney,
Cameron Dollar.
Cameron. Oh my, they
Dan
were stacked.
Gazzard.
Great, yeah, big fella in the middle.
Yep.
That team.
Mitchell Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, that was the team. It was everybody on that. Mitchell Butler was in blue chips as a player.
Yeah.
Mitchell Butler.
Before they beat Arkansas in the championship, no one thought Arkansas was going to get beat. Everybody had Arkansas run them off the court, and I kept saying, man, they got athletes, man. It's almost like people were saying no way Arkansas would lose to them, almost like they were saying there was no way USC could lose to Texas with Vince Young. Everybody just discounted what Texas had, and they did the same thing with UCLA. I kept saying, keep thinking that Arkansas is going to know. Arkansas don't want to get in an up and down match with these guys. That's what they do best. And they ran.
Hey, fellas, do you realize that every NCAA champion has a skier during that tournament?
All the time.
That UCLA team should have lost to Missouri when
Titus
Edney had to take it the length of the full court to lay it up. The 92 Duke team should have lost to Kentucky. The 93 team, Carolina, should have lost to Cincinnati. I mean, I can keep going on and on. Each year's team.
The Maryland National Championship
should have lost to Duke.
The Maryland National Championship team in 2002, they should have lost to George Mason. George Mason almost got him.
Gave them fits, man. How about the 97 Arizona team beat 3-1? See, they was down in every game, double digits. Came back and won every game.
But
I still watch that and wonder how they did it.
Nobody ever talks about this because Mason made the Final Four.
But guess what? The only time in history,
when I think a coach beat 3 Hall of Famers like that. 3 people won national championships. He beat Izzo, but
Calhoun.
He beat Izzo, Calhoun, and who was
Smith.
the other one that he beat? And who?
No, it's Roy Williams.
Who he beat? No, Roy Williams.
It was Roy.
He beat Mark Turgeon.
He got Mark Turgeon. He got Turgeon too. He got him. Yep.
Trey went to Texas. What was that? Texas A&M.
Yep.
He was at
Wichita State.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. My
Wichita
bad.
State. Yeah, he
Yeah.
beat him he beat him here in DC, downtown.
beat him here in
At,
DC.
at the Verizon
then he-
Center, yeah.
And then he beat Calhoun to go. So,
Yeah.
when you talk about all these teams, you got to have a skier. So the 16 teams that are left right now,
Gonzaga.
skier was the other day. Because I think now Gonzaga's going to win it because the
Mm-mm.
teams who gave them
No.
the bad
Arkansas is
matchup.
going to get him, Tony.
Oh,
Arkansas.
God, man, Arkansas going to go home, dude. They just not 40 minutes of hell.
Okay. Say what you like. Arkansas is going to present a challenge.
Walking
It's going to
through
be a
that door.
problem. They're going to give them
Hey
problems.
Tony, Chris Lights on the Arkansas team from Gonzaga.
Chris Light.
I love that kid.
Listen,
I love
tough,
that
man.
kid.
That kid
I love
tough,
What is he?
man.
5'6", and he's
He's
scared of
tough as
nobody. He
nails,
has no
man.
fear. He ain't afraid of nobody.
He the number
Hey,
one
dog,
free throw shooter in the
Arkansas.
nation in the crunch.
Hey, listen. One of
Tony.
his first games in high school, he was a freshman in high school at Gonzaga, freshman on varsity. He dropped 35 on Melo Trimble.
Mm.
35.
Well,
And by
Melo
the
was at
way,
O'Connell.
yeah, when Melo was at O'Connell, and it not just 35. It should have been 38 and 1. He got fouled on a three-pointer, and I saw it on the video, and he hit the bucket, and the ref waved it off and didn't call no foul. I was like, come on, dog.
Markel Fultz that night when we had the ice and back in 16.
Yeah,
So,
Fultz was a dog in high school. He was the dog in high school. I don't think Washington was the right place for him. I would have liked to see him go the more traditional route to get himself to the pros. But you know what? He made it as the number one pick. He's still in the league. He's still battling. But, that was a weird time for DeMatha, guys. Jody, you might not know this, but Dev and Tony do. At one point, DeMatha High School had the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, the best high school Madden player in the country, all in and a pro tennis player, all at DeMatha at the same time.
Chase Young,
best
Markel
player in the
Fultz.
world.
Yep.
Francis Tiafo was still at Maryland, was still at DeMatha when Chase Young was there. Chase Young had transferred in. And they had there's so much talent here in the DC area, like what you guys will have in Ohio, that you'll have kids that are coming from all different places and stuff that end up here at your high school. And you're like, where do we get all these kids from? Their parents sometimes just move there.
Hey, listen, I heard about DeMatha here in the Midwest. Like they name ring bells in Ohio. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
They name definitely still. Hey, listen, they ring bells. The Maryland area, the Baltimore area, man. They ring bells up in this area. Trust me.
Hey Jody, they the only, they are one of the only 2 schools to give Lou Alcindor a loss in his high school career.
Wow. We talking about
Yeah, Power Memorial. The other team they lost to was Pat Riley's team up in Schenectady, right?
Yep. That's the only 2 losses he had in his career in high school.
damn.
Yep.
Hey, folks, please, don't.
If you're watching the show, we haven't forgot about the biggest story to me is that team up in Jersey City.
Amazing.
No story bigger than that.
St.
That
Pete's.
guy and that coach needs
Shaheen
to get
Holloway.
all the credit in the world because believe me, they beat pros out there. None of those guys for St. Peter's is going in the pros. I can tell you
Nobody.
that.
Well, you know what I like about them, Tony? You know what I like about them? They play, a lot of people won't notice it, but what they're playing is high-level pickup basketball in that your job as a defender is to watch the man and the ball, right?
Yeah.
If you turn your head to look at your man, the pass goes behind you because your man just cut. You are watching the ball. As soon as you turn your head to watch, that's when the cut occurs. That type of timing to get that to work, that's why these guys get so open. And then here's the other thing, Deb. If you back up off of them, they'll shoot a 3.
Yeah, they tough, man.
You try to play in the gap on them, they'll shoot a 3 in your face.
But you know
Well,
what?
they-
with
when
St. My
Go
fault.
ahead, man.
No, I'm gonna say
Go
don't.
ahead.
With St. Peter's, man, they're from Jersey. And you already know that symbolized toughness. I've said that many times, but that symbolized toughness. They playing just like their head coach. Their head coach is basically the embodiment of how they're playing. He shows no fear, and they don't show any. And I wouldn't be surprised they won at least another one.
Would you take them
Won't
another
be
round,
long.
Tony? You take them another round?
Here's what we have to understand. Now that it comes down to this, Jersey City is about an hour and 10 minutes away from Philadelphia.
Philly.
Oh, yeah, they're fine.
Have everybody in the world down there at that game. Matter of fact, they better hope those kids ain't on spring break. They probably down there right now causing hell, waiting on that game.
Oh,
That
it's
Wells
gonna
Fargo Center. That Wells Fargo Center gonna be jam packed, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Wells Fargo
St.
Center.
Peter's, yeah, it's going to be, listen, it's going to be the biggest game. Matter of fact, that may be the biggest game since Rutgers had a chance to go to Final Four in the 70s for, probably Seton Hall when they made the finals. That's one of the biggest games in Jersey basketball history for their colleges. I'm telling you. That's a huge game for them.
They're going to have their hands full with the Boilermakers. Kansas is going to be playing against Providence at the United Center. I think Kansas plays in that early season classic at the United Center every year. So
Champions Classic,
yeah, that's right, the Champions Classic. So no big deal for them. North Carolina, UCLA in an 8-4 matchup of blue bloods. Well, you guys might not like this. I don't consider UCLA a blue blood anymore. Sorry.
Dave, can I go back on the Kansas Providence one?
Go for it.
I'm a Kansas fan. I'm not real comfortable with that. I'm not, because Providence plays a way. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be the saving grace. A healthy Remy Martin is probably gonna save us, because if we didn't have him, we're not beating them, because he can create his own offense as well as get offense for others. And if you look at our team, him and DeJuan Harris are the two guys that create offense. Now Harris can't score, but he is a good facilitator. He don't turn the ball over. He's a good defender. Remy Martin comes off the bench and can score 20, 25 in his sleep. That's the difference with Kansas now than when they were playing early in the year when he took the 3-week hiatus for his knee. Bill Self said he knew. Yeah.
Why does that sound like a drink?
What? Remy Martin, that's his real name, man. That's his real name, bro.
Is that a real drink?
Yeah, from
Tony,
Puerto
the
Rico,
boy's
man.
God-given name is Remy Martin.
That's his real name, man. That's his
Something
real
wrong
name,
with Tony, man.
Hey, listen.
And he's serious too. He's serious.
Listen, guys, you guys are smarter than I am. Can somebody please explain to me what the hell happened to Auburn? What was that?
They've been going down. They've been going down for like the last 6-7 games, though. They've been really struggling. They did not look like Auburn.
Look at Tony, man.
That's a Jesse.
They killed, dude. They killed my bracket, man.
They sold the farm.
They sold.
When you hungry, when you eat peanut butter and jelly, your ass is gonna be hungry at midnight. I told you Kansas was going. They were going to do for you.
I think they set up the highest seeded. I think they set up the highest seeded game to get to the Elite Eight. 11 seeded Iowa State would play 10 seeded Miami out of the ACC for a shot at the Elite Eight. That's being down with a discount, isn't it?
Is Jabari Smith as good as we thought he was?
Yes.
The rest of that team not that good. So I'm gonna tell you the disappointment on that team. It was Walker Kessler. He did not do what he should have did for them this year. He did not look like the guy that they brought in to do more than just block shots. He could do so much more, and he just never looked comfortable playing for that team. He had games where he had 8 blocks, 15 points, but for a dude that size, that kind of skill set in the SEC where there are a few good bigs, not that many, you should have a 15 and 10 night every night. It's unacceptable. And then again, they have the Jay McKenzie syndrome. Their guards don't know when to pass, when to go,
no feel.
They just don't know when to do it. They have no feel, and that was the difference between the two guards they had that they almost when they took UVA to the end. Those two guards, Harper and that kid that shot the threes, Bryce, whatever his name was. Those two dudes played great together. That's the difference between if you look at that team and this team had more talent, but there was no continuity. Almost like the Alabama team this year was more talented than the Alabama team last year, but it didn't have no continuity. Continuity wasn't there. That's so key, and it's key, man.
We're going to get back on the show on Wednesday, but before we go tonight, I wanted to talk about a couple of things real quick. We don't put a lot of women's sports on the show. We are going to talk a little bit about the women's tournament as they get a little further down the road here. And women's action is going on right now. We want to give a shout out to some national champions here. UVA women's swimming repeated as national champions this year over Texas and Stanford. Texas and Stanford are powerhouses in the sport. They won the championship last year. A lot of people said it was a COVID championship. Came back this year. But here's what's interesting about this team. In that meet, the championship meet, 5 American records go down. The UVA women's team put down 5 American records, 3 UVA records. They win 7 individual events and 4 out of the 5 relays. And they had one gal who broke 3 American records in 3 different strokes.
Wow.
It's one of the most they're saying, Rowdy Gaines said it was one of the most dominant women's swimming teams ever. Now, these are short course events, so they swim yards in college. These are not Olympic long course meters, okay? So these are like 200-yard breaststroke, 50-yard freestyle, 100 fly. They dominated. So we want to give a shout out to UVA women's swimming team. And on a somber note, we do want to pass on our condolences to ESPN great John Clayton. John Clayton passed on, a great in the sport known as the Professor. He helped build up what ESPN's NFL coverage was. He gave it more heft. He explained things like the salary cap to people. He explained what the injury situation was. And he's been breaking stories in the NFL since Pittsburgh and Chuck Noll was there. When he broke the story that Chuck Noll had his guys playing in pads against the NFLPA, against NFL rules, and he broke the story.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And listen, this is back in the 70s when the Steelers were like, God, okay, that could have got that boy hurt, right? And speaking against the Steelers, but he broke the story. Also, a big name in the Pacific Northwest. Did a lot of work with the Seattle organization as far as breaking stories out there. Our condolences go out to his family, obviously also his ESPN family. I really enjoyed watching him talk about football, and just one of the greats in our sport. And he's in the Hall of Fame also for broadcasters.
Can I give a shout out to Tamika Reed and the Jackson State women?
Absolutely, let's do it.
They went undefeated in the SWAC and pushed Kim Mulkey's LSU Tigers to the brink of elimination, losing by 6 in the last 2 minutes of the game.
That was a tight one.
Yeah, and I like what she said after they won their first round matchup. Or when they picked the teams for the 68 or whatever, they knew they were going to play LSU. And first thing she said was, Kim Mulkey, we coming. And they came. And Kim Mulkey said it. She said that it's almost like what Rick Pitino said about Shaheen Holloway. Kim Mulkey pretty much said it about her. She said she's going places because she's going to get recruits that you probably wouldn't expect them to get down there, almost like Deion did in football. They're doing some stuff. Mo Williams is going to get some guys he probably wouldn't have normally got. She's going to get some girls. You're going to see a 5-star girl go there soon. It's going to be a 5-star that goes to Jackson State to play basketball.
It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Yep, it's only a matter of time.
And I love what she said in that I don't see her as somebody that's a climber. That's, hey, I'm just doing this job so I can get a real job in a Power 5. I think she's looking at she's not looking for a destination job. She feels that she's at the destination. And I like that. You've got to be careful as an athletic director when you hire. Hey, look, is this guy or gal just here because they want to coach at Tennessee? They're going to rack up a lot of numbers and then try to get to a high major job, right? Or is this person here that wants to build and develop this program and live in the moment? And a lot of times when you're making that big money or you see the big money at that next stop, you don't live in the moment. You're living for that next stop. And I like what she's doing at Jackson State, and I'm looking forward to seeing her stay for a long time. And I hope she wins a lot more games.
Yep. Also, did you guys know that the AD at Seton Hall was the AD that hired Shaheen Holloway at St. Peter's?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's just a matter of time. The minute St. Peter's loses, we know who's going over there. It's a matter of time. I hate to say that.
He's a Seton Hall guy. He's a Seton Hall guy.
So. He came from Willard Staff, didn't he? Didn't they hire him away from Willard Staff? So
he did.
It's just a matter of time. So hats off to that guy and what he's doing. We talked about it, but he's just, I mean, he flat out can coach. And I told people he could coach before this because he's in the MAC. And even in that conference, he's got the least amount of resources of all the teams.
Oh, very
And,
much so.
You know, he's going up against the Ionas and the Siennas, who's got better facilities, more of everything. And he's handling them teams, you know. So hats off to him and what he's done. I mean, he's done some great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Well, we talked about it on Facebook earlier, Jody, where I said, you know, I don't know which coach it was, but whoever the coach was had said, the other team, you know, we're playing against Duke. They have McDonald's All-Americans. We just have guys that have been to McDonald's. That's St. Peter's.
That's funny. That is funny.
When I saw that Jerry Tarkanian special, the documentary, when they talked about him being at Nevada, Las Vegas, he said, you know, when I first got here, the travel budget was so low, the only thing we could afford was KFC. So I think we led the country in KFC fried chicken. He said that's all they could eat on the road.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That was before he got Vegas really rolling.
What's your party shot,
Jody?
Man, my parting shot, I'm about to be a homer, man, but it's about the Cleveland Browns, man. I really want to take my hat off to Andrew Berry, man, because being an African-American in the NFL, man, is very difficult. And he is going to a city that really hasn't had too many African-Americans in leadership positions as far as coaching or as in GM. So what he's done with Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper and just in his short stint with Cleveland, making us truly believe is unbelievable. Y'all got to understand, man, Cleveland football is everything, man. And this region, man, is everything, man. And we really would like to see a championship come out of Cleveland, not just for basketball. But I really want to take my hat off to Andrew Berry, showing that African Americans can be leaders and can lead teams to championships. So just shout out to, especially in the NFL, it's not been a lot of black GMs in the NFL, and he's showing that he can do it even at a young age. So my hat's off to him.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Your boy.
What you got, Tony?
Hey, folks. I just want to say that
all the big time schools all the time. And we talk about the recruits wanting to go to
big schools and this and that.
my shot is to all the little kids and all the little
Little guys and all the parents and the people who felt that they weren't appreciated because they had to go to what they feel was a lesser school.
what the NCAA
Tournament has shown us it is taught us a lesson in life.
go with the people
Who are in love with you.
dance with the people who push you. You cannot
Not make Ohio State love you.
go to Miami, Ohio. Go to Akron. You know, this
Central
is
State.
Important to our kids. Central State.
Yes.
Now that you got
Toledo,
options for the
yeah.
HBCU. Where we're getting wrong is these kids. We talk about the 0.5% who goes to the big schools. But really, all your kids that you see go to schools like St. Peter's in basketball, Bowie State in football, Central State in football, FAMU, Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
Watching this. And make sure you call those schools back. Don't try to big time them because
That's
you
right.
may have gotten a non-committable offer to Maryland. So you ain't gonna call Towson back. Because guess what? That first and second person, if they commit to Maryland, now your offer means nothing. Now you gotta go kiss Towson's butt.
so it is because looking at this
Tournament, I'm sorry if I'm gonna cheer for the little guy.
No, I appreciate that.
I want to cheer for the little guy. And I want the little guy to succeed, even if it's throwing my team under the bus. We haven't given you our picks. But guess what? With all this Carolina crap I got on, if it came down to Carolina and St. Peter's, I will cheer for Carolina. But if they lost to St. Peter's, I will stand up and applaud those guys because that is bigger and better for the game and for anything in life.
I can appreciate that, and that's well said. Everybody, this is one of our best shows, man. We really appreciate y'all joining us. Our guest, Devin Mason, Jody Coleman, my man from the Midwest, and
No
TK,
doubt.
Tony Kennedy, Carolina fan
Watson,
extraordinaire.
baby. I'm happy for you, baby. Happy for you. Deshaun Watson, baby.
Yeah,
Happy for
yeah.
you.
But we'll
Appreciate
be
it.
talking about that.
Hey,
And we're going to
appreciate
be
it.
back on Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday. And Wednesday is pick day. Okay? Wednesday, everybody have your
Picks
picks.
together. We're going to write them down because I
I
don't want
wrote
to hear
mine
nothing
down.
when it's
I
over.
wrote mine down. So, yeah. So, everybody that's listening, come with your picks on Wednesday. We're going to do this on Wednesday. We're going to have a ball with this. And talk a lot
Can
of
y'all
college.
say a prayer? Can y'all say a prayer for my bracket? Because 3 of my 4 teams are gone.
I got one left.
Bracket.
I got one
I
team
got one
left.
3 of my
I got
4
3.
gone.
I got 3 left.
I figured
got
Dad was
Arizona,
I figured Dad was doing okay, man. He's the prognosticator. I think he had it.
Yeah.
I got Kansas, Arizona, and Gonzaga.
You still got
Ain't no
you
guarantee
still
they
alive,
through.
baby.
No, I got
Checking the
2
John
left.
Hopkins.
I got 2
Oh no,
left.
your
I got
bracket's
Texas Tech.
your bracket's at Cleveland Clinic. My joint's at John Hopkins. My joint's sitting at John Hopkins. They doing ICU, dog.
And you on life support, Tony. You know what I'm
My joint's on life support. That's
Hey,
my bracket.
man. You guys,
man.
you guys kill me, man. But yeah, we're gonna
All
talk
right,
brackets
fellas.
on Thursday. Everybody,
All
that's
right.
the TV report for tonight. Anyone that was listening,
later.
definitely hit the like and subscribe button and share. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
We
guys.
out.
Thank
All right.
We don't do the overtime.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, peace, bro. That was good.